What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I want to talk about a Philadelphia fighter by the name of Terrible Tim Witherspoon. He was born December 27th, 1957, and he stood 6 foot 3.5 inches and weighed 188 to 257 pounds. He was managed by Slim Jim Robinson. Now, Mr. Witherspoon would have a 78-inch reach and have total bouts of 69, 55 wins, 38 knockouts, 13 losses with 1 draw. He would have 6 amateur fights, losing his last to Marvis Frazier. Now, Tim Witherspoon was a 2-belt title holder, WBC, WBA, and he fell into the hands of Muhammad Ali in 1978 as a sparring partner. Now, he would meet promoter Don King after King would hear about him. He was a phenomenon in the gym. He was a Philadelphia puncher. He had a devastating overhand right that could be mistaken for a sledgehammer. Now, Witherspoon would face men such as Tony Tubbs, Frank Bruno, James Bonecrusher Smith, Ronaldo Mr. Snipes, James Quick Tillis, Alfonso Ratliff, Floyd Jumbo Cummings, Jorge Luis Gonzalez, I was at that fight, Greg Page, Frank Bruno, Larry Holmes, Pinklin Thomas, Mark Chill Wills, James Bonecrusher Smith, and James Broad. Now, after turning professional October 30th against Joey Adams, he would score a TKO in the first round. And everyone began to look at Tim Witherspoon. 1981, December 5th, he would face Alfonso Ratliff, who would be a future cruiserweight champion. Fought him in Atlantic City and knocked him out in 7 rounds. June 5th, 1982, he would face Ronaldo Mr. Snipes, Las Vegas, for the WBC, and lost in 12 rounds. May 20th, 1983, he would face Larry Holmes in Las Vegas, Nevada, for the WBC, and lose 12 rounds. September 23rd of that same year, he would face James Quick Tillis in Richfield, Ohio, and he would knock him out in 1 round. And that would be for the NABF. That was once owned by Michael Dynamite Dokes. 1984, March 9th, he would face Greg Page, Las Vegas, Nevada, and he would win 12 rounds. NABF. August 31st of 1984, he would face Pinklin Thomas, Las Vegas, Nevada, and he would lose in 12 rounds, and he would lose his WBC Heavyweight Championship title. (1985), Mark Chill Wills, Inglewood, California, technical knockout in 9 rounds. That same year, he would face James Broad, Buffalo, New York. I was at that fight. 2nd round. Knocked him out with NABF Heavyweight Championship belt. June 15th, James Bonecrusher Smith. He would defeat him in 12 rounds. And he would secure his NABF title. But in 1986, January 17th, he would face Tony Tubbs in Atlantic City. I was at that fight. For the WBA Heavyweight Championship strap, and he would defeat him in 15 rounds. That was the most boring heavyweight championship bout that I have ever experienced in my life. Probably worse than Tommy Gibbons and Jack Dempsey. December 12th, he would face James Bonecrusher Smith again in Madison Square Garden. Clearly, he took him lightly because he was starched in the first round. And a 3 knockdown rule was not in effect, which he thought it was. And he would lose his WBA strap. Now, the last 4 fights that I mentioned was part of the HBO tournament. I was in the 3rd row in Madison Square Garden when he was knocked out by James Bonecrusher Smith. Mike Tyson was on the other side of the ring commentating. And the garden was almost like a funeral. I couldn't believe what they saw because Mike Tyson was scheduled to face Tim Witherspoon. And all the hype in the barbershops and everywhere in the street was for that fight between Tim Witherspoon and Mike Tyson. And Bone Crusher Smith upsetted Tim Witherspoon because Tim Witherspoon had already defeated Bone Crusher Smith. He defeated him 12-round victory, 1985. Tim Witherspoon was going to lose to Ray Mercer, Larry Donald, WBC Continental Heavyweight Championship strap, Andrew Galata, Greg Page, Lou Savarese, WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship strap. Unfortunate for Tim Witherspoon. Remember when he knocked out Frank Bruno with a vicious overhand right? He made several attempts to come back. It just wasn't disciplined, is what his problem was. He was into cocaine and other drugs. I remember meeting him, Gleason's gym, several times. And he just didn't have it together. Nice guy, but unfortunately for him, he just wasn't a world-class champion. But this is Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Salute to Terrible Tim Witherspoon.